Okay, so here's some more bull crap. Well, first of all, I replaced the adjustment pot on this side, and it's no longer overheating. It actually does get like a little bit warm, but I mean that seems like completely normal. I still have to adjust it. On the other hand, this one's almost completely cold. Well, actually, no, this it's a little bit warm. But this one does get a little bit more hot than this one, but it's not overheating anymore. But okay, anyway, you'll notice they changed the capacitor there, and I'll explain why. Although it didn't do crap for me. But okay, so we finally had sort of accepted the voltages we had because they all seemed identical on both channels, and everything was looking like that was normal. The voltages we were getting were normal. So we were about to get that crap out of the way, except the fact that the base on the bottom end transistor on the right channel, if you remember, that was a little bit too high. That was like 1.2 volts. So I was going to come back and check that out. After I was doing some adjustments over there, I was going to check this one out and see if I could adjust that extra voltage out of there or whatever. But now when I came back and measured it, I found that this time, for whatever freaking reason, it was giving me like 16 volts on base, which is retarded. And the weird thing is that it only happens when the speaker is hooked up. When I disconnect the speaker, that weird voltage goes away, and I'll demonstrate that. So okay, let's see. I have my voltmeter right here. I have the clip lead. Okay, so basically, I changed the cap because I thought maybe, the only relation I can see between the speaker and this capacitor is maybe, something's happening where this is maybe like leaking or something. So I changed it, but it made no difference. And so I decided to pull this resistor here, which is a 10 ohm resistor. This gets its base voltage by the PNP from the PNP transistor over here. So I disconnected it to see if this was actually the source of that extra voltage that is appearing there, because it seems like this is like shooting its source voltage straight through as if it was shorted or something, but it's not shorted, and it only happens when the speaker is hooked up, which is really weird. So I lifted that resistor so I can measure the voltage straight from there, and so this is what it gives me. Volts. Speaker is hooked up right now. If I disconnect the speaker, goes away, drops to 0.14 volts. Hook up the speaker again, crazy voltage is back up. So I have no idea what the hell is causing that. And right now it's actually only like 5 volts, but a minute ago it was all the way to 16. And the other weird thing is if I touch the heatsink, it goes down by around half or so. Kind of climbs back up though. But yeah, what the hell is up with that? That's really weird. So this PNP transistor down here, the drive transistor, is the source of that voltage, and it actually feels a little bit hot. That's also despite the fact that it's not driving anything right now, because it's disconnected from this thing. And it feels hot. This doesn't feel hot, this feels hot. All the diodes that are related to this gets fed by the diodes, gets I think 16 volts to the base, and it's supposed to let out only like, like 0.6 or something, I'm not really sure anymore. But yeah, it feels hot. I have no idea what the hell's going on this time. So that's a new weird problem. At least we solved the overheating issue over here. Still needs adjustments, but we still have some stupid bullcrap to deal with on this thing. I wonder if it's a leaky cap, or I don't know what the hell this is up. What the hell is up with this? Okay, so the only thing I can think of now, because I already like tested stuff around here. I tested this resistor, which goes to ground and hooks up to the collector of this thing, which then goes to over here, that's where the weird voltage is coming from. But the only thing I can think of now is maybe this transistor is leaky, because it gets hot. The readings, voltage readings, except the collector, of course, which is the problem, read exactly the same as this one over here, except this one's weird. And the only thing I can think of right now is maybe this thing is leaky, because it gets hot, and I don't think it got hot before. It doesn't get too hot, but I mean, I don't know, that's the only thing I can think of. So I might either try finding a replacement for this or swap this to over here, and vice versa. And the only thing that's different between these two channels that I also thought might be causing the weird audio problems is this, which is a replacement transistor, although I looked it up and it's supposedly a good replacement for the original one. So I might also try swapping this out just to see what happens later on. Yeah, so I tried swapping the transistors, nothing happened. Right now I put them back in place. I also tried swapping this one with that one, which is the one I replaced, but also made no difference. Okay, so I turned it on today, and this thing must have woken up in a good mood today because now it's working perfectly and the weird voltage is gone. You see right there? That's the base voltage that was weird before. So that's kind of scary because now it means that I have something intermittent. You know, if it fixed itself overnight and, you know, it was reacting weird before, then it means something is moving out of position or something is losing contact or something like that. You know, it's basically an intermittent problem. But like right now, it's acting good and it sounds really nice. So you can hear right now it's actually sounding good. But so because it's most definitely something intermittent, I went around and tapped it to see if I could find something that seemed loose, and I did. So by the way, right now it also doesn't care whether or not the speaker's connected like it did before. See, I disconnected it, connected back up, and it doesn't care. So anyway, I tapped it to see like if I could sort of zero in on where that intermittent short is or whatever that thing is. And yeah, when I tap it around, it goes back to acting up. I'm gonna be tapping around. You can see here. If I can see right there, it's back, and it's sounding crappy again. I can't exactly figure out where it's coming from because earlier I tapped around here and it seemed to be coming from there. So I resoldered some stuff down there, and now when I hit it over here and when I hit it anywhere, it happens. Let me tap it again. See, now it's back to normal. Tap again. I can actually do it like on a one tap basis. Tap again. Where the hell is that coming from? Hmm. Okay, so I went and resoldered everything on this side of the circuit board, and it didn't fix the problem, which sucks because I ended up using like pretty much all my solder that I had left. So I was going through this thing, and I think, well, I sort of found what the problem is somewhat. So if I turn it on, it seems to be coming from this touching the chassis or something. See, if I take out the screwdriver and let it down, it sounds like crap again. Lift it, sounds good again. Show you the voltages on that. Okay, voltages. Just gonna lift the board. What the fuck? No, it's not doing anything. Oh wait. Hmm. So yeah, I don't think it's the actual contact because there's a ground tab down here. I don't think it's the actual contact, but it seems like it flexes part of the board or something to where something makes contact again. So the problem might be like a trace. What the hell? The other thing I noticed too is that the capacitor here has some really big negative pins or tabs or whatever, and it didn't sort of clear the edge down here, so this is arced. So over time, probably a trace went bad or something with all the heat and stuff. Okay, so I thought I'd figured this thing out because basically I went around and re-soldered every single thing on this channel. And one of the things I did find was that I don't know if I mentioned that there was an arc here on the circuit board, because this thing has 4 ground pins and 2 of those on the bottom were touching against the chassis here, and it wasn't letting the circuit board sit down all the way. So I don't know if that was a crappy install from the factory or if maybe somebody replaced it somewhere along the line, because there is like a handwritten pencil date down here from 1979. But anyway, I thought I solved it, and I was monitoring it for the longest time, and it was working perfectly. And all of a sudden, the stupid crap came back, and right now it's back. So again, I'm completely lost. I'm trying to figure out what it is. When I bang on it, sometimes it goes away. Oh, my stupid clip lead. When I bang on it, sometimes it goes away. This resistor here gets really hot, which is connected to the collector of the PMP here. Okay, so I just tried a bunch of stuff. I tried swapping all the caps. I changed this one. I swapped this one from the one in the other channel. Uh, this one I have tacked on. I have another one tacked on the bottom. Same thing for this one. This one's just the input, so it doesn't really do anything. This we know because we had it changed before and it didn't make any difference. The only thing I can think of now is maybe these diodes are acting funny even though they test good. So this resistor here gets really hot, and it's like this transistor here is like saturating or something, and it's just acting like a switch, and it's grounding the incoming voltage directly into this resistor, and that's why it's getting so hot. This attaches to ground. So yeah, I tried a bunch of stuff. Maybe this guy here is bad, even though it tests good. It seems like maybe something is oscillating. I have no freaking clue. But yeah, this is getting really annoying, and I tried everything I could for today. It's still intermittent, but it's not as sensitive anymore, probably because I have everything bolted down. The other thing it could be is a bad trace, so maybe I can try checking out every trace in this thing or something. But yeah, that's it for today. I'll continue tomorrow. Okay, so one more find before I go to bed. Well, first of all, I swapped a bunch of stuff. I swapped the top end driver with the one from the other channel with no difference. I swapped this transistor with no difference. Caps, no difference. All resistors are good. Only thing I haven't swapped up until this point is the diodes and the output transistors. Also tried swapping this adjustment pot in case I damaged it while I was installing it with no difference. And so now what I found is that the fault is actually volume related. I don't know if it's been volume related this whole time because well, I mean this thing's been changing characteristics the whole time, but so I'm not really sure if it was volume related the whole time or not. But okay, so I was measuring the incoming voltage to the collector of the PNP driver, which comes from the collector of the bottom end NPN output transistor, which then comes from the output of the emitter of the top end output transistor. And so what we're measuring right now is the voltage at the emitter junction between the two transistors. And what I found is that it goes up when I turn up the volume. It goes up by about 2 or 3 volts. And so the fault over here doesn't happen unless the volume is high. And when the volume is low, nothing's happening here. The voltage is only like 0.01 volts or something. So basically, it seems that this thing takes, a lot of voltages out of that 15 volt emitter junction voltage. It uses that for a bunch of different things, and everything that uses those 15 volts or so goes up about 2 or 3 volts whenever you turn up the volume, and that seems to end up saturating this transistor, and in turn ends up doing the thing that it does. Over here, all those voltages stay nice and stable. Nothing changes depending on volume. Over here it does, and it seems to originate from the emitter of the top end output transistor. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that crap.